Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a replay recording stream. Today we'll be looking at, a few games from the Class S League. In fact, we'll be looking at the grand finals of the league between Gentleman and Mishi. I wanted to analyze these replays because I genuinely found them quite interesting, and I want to see what we other players could learn from two of the best players in the game. Without further ado, let's get into round 1. To you guys that didn't know, this ended up in a 4-2 victory for the Gentleman. It was the best out of 7. Yes. Alright, let's get right into it. So, for Gentleman versus Mishi Game 1, we already here see something that's quite odd. First off, none of these are playing the established meta. This is a pretty new patch, but the balance changes haven't been that large. But none of them know what the meta is, and they're in fact playing very similar decks. Perhaps they're trying to exploit it, but I do think that, honestly, Mass T1 into Fox is a pretty alright deck. So let's see how it turns out for the two. Pretty average start so far. The both of them are queuing up their 5th farm. Now, if you look here at Mishi, expanding for Mishi is going to be very difficult. For Gent, it's going to be very easy, comparatively. However, because of the defensive map Mishi has the option of just closing this off with MGs and rushing a Fox pretty much without Gentleman being able to stop them. So, is that what we'll see this game? Spoiler alert. I should probably not tell you. I'll save it for later. So, Gentleman here is running around. He's going to do his mold shenanigans. He has molds in his deck, so he's just going to use them to try and pressure Mishi into doing some things. However, he responds quite correctly here by placing a Lizard Warren in a very safe location. So Lizard's very good at chasing molds on the rundown, and then he just has his 5th farm here. Gentleman just pulls his mold back, see if he can do anything. He sees that farm. He's gonna try and have a little look here. He can't really do anything. Oh, there comes the Lizard, and he instantly sells. He knows that he cannot keep this aggression up because of the Lizard here. Meanwhile, Mishi knows that it's unlikely Gentleman has any units, and Mishi sees the opportunity for a counterattack. And indeed, Gent doesn't have any units, not yet at least, and he's trying to work on it. And Mishi here, being really sneaky, is gonna try and get in here, but he sees the 2 warrants, and the farm here has a little bit too much health for his liking, so he backs off and sells his lizards to go full up on farms. Now, he plays the MG here. This is a pretty good play from Mishi. I like this play here. Gent here is sitting here with a lot of squirrels, which threatens Mishi. But he does the right choice in placing an MG, and this is a note to you new players. A lot of people just place MGs haphazardly. But this situation specifically calls for the use of an MG because of the closed map. So, I really like this MG play. Usually I'll see a lot of new players place MGs like this without any reason to. Because in this situation, Mishi has something to defend against. Something he knows is coming, which is the squirrels. And once those have been fended off and Mishi has a few warrants, I'm 100% certain he's going to sell this MG again. And that's also important. Selling defensive structures that have outlived their use. So you can see a Gent sees the MG and he knows it's going to be really tough to break into. Is he going to try though? 1 mole, 2 squirrels? I don't know. This isn't looking really good. Mishi's going to even place a second MG just in case. So I don't think Gent is going to break through this at all. He is gonna try though, and he sees that he can see the second MG. Is he gonna try? He is gonna go for it, and he sells that mold and backs off. I'm okay with him backing off. He takes the fight here again because he's out of the range of the MGs. Getting a little squirrel. Still not good for Gent, but he knows when to back off. And as you see, Mishi immediately sells his MG again, builds more T1 because Mishi knows that MG has outlived its use. The other one still there because it doesn't sell for full value unless it has full health. So he's going to let it regenerate its health and then sell it. So you see the 2 players are scouting each other very actively. There's campfire going down for Gent. Has Mishi seen that? Let's see. So, if we toggle the visibility here. Mishi has indeed seen... No, hold on. Mishi doesn't know that, but Mishi's gonna move out regardless now. Gonna take a campfire off his own. And this MG is probably gonna be sold here. See, immediately, as soon as it has full health, Mishi sells the MG because it has outlived its use. Very important for you new people out there. So, the heavy T1 comp from both sides here, especially from Mishi, who's going for Lizard, Toad, Squirrel. Very strong combination that can beat a lot of things. So Mishi knows there's a campfire here, but doesn't know if Gent has built it or not. He's gonna go for it, but these mines here might be a little dangerous. Takes down one. Takes down two. They don't really get much use, but now Gent comes in here and he sees the toads. These toads are really good against Gent's squirrels. They're gonna sew them off and just gonna make it so much less useful for him to have those lizards. So the T1 comp here, along with Mishi's earlier lead, is just really going to be pushing in here. He's going to use the ferrets to start sieging here. He doesn't really have to take a full-on fight as long as he can just keep running around the edge of Gentleman's base and force him out of his warrens to fight. Mines in here are really not going to do much. They're going to take a few of the reinforcements, but it's just not value. It's just not worth it yet. And Mishi's just going to sit here and poke with his ferrets on the edge while forcing Gent to fight outside of his warrens. Really not a good location for Gent to fight. Mishi even gets to snipe down 2 pigs with the ferrets. Very nice micro here. So, what you saw him do is run past his enemy with his commander. Just focus fire and abuse the range of ferrets. 2 ferret shells is enough to take down a pig, and Mishi knows that. So he really quickly goes in, gets those 2 shells out, and then out again. And now he's running back, he's retreating, because he sees that Gentleman's reinforcements are going to take down these ferrets if Mishi doesn't retreat. Now, this mine here, Mishi doesn't know it, but it takes down a ferret here. Big deal. However, Gent is 2 farms down, and a lot of warrens down too, which means that Mishi has a huge eco advantage on 3 farms because of the campfire. Gent really cannot do much here. He can only hope that he can somehow stall this game out long enough. But Mishi, being the smart player he knows that Gent wants to play the long game now. He's going to end it as soon as he can. He's going to get some ferret poke in, take down a squirrel and a lizard for basically free, and then he's just going to keep sitting here, poking, taking down this campfire for free to hold back his toads so they don't explode on it. Gent tries to run those lizards around, but they just can't. There's not enough of them, and Mishi's lizards are just going to run over and kill his lizards. He cannot outrun Mishi's lizards. Mishi has more of them. So that ends the game for Mishi 1-0. Very nice defense pull off from Mishi there. When he saw that Gent was going to attack it with mold, he used the MGs very well. As you saw, he sold them the moment they outlived their use. Because unless you're defending something, you want to sell your MGs so that you can have units instead. If you do not have units, then you're giving up map control. Very important. Now, coming into the second game here is going to be Gentleman versus Mishi once more. If we can have a little look at them really quickly in the deck. So, this is a little more meta, what you see Gentleman doing. Skunk, Snake. Very powerful combination has ruled the meta for pretty much the last 2 patches, let's say. Skunk has ruled for 5 patches or something like that, but we don't need to go into details on that. So, Gentleman's comp is very standard. Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, Snake, and then whatever you want for the rest of the deck. While Mishi here is trying to use the newly buffed Chameleons and Falcons to... and Squirrels too, I guess they also got buffed to their advantage. However, I don't think this is good enough. I really think that Skunk Snake is the best combo in the game, and there's just nothing that can really beat them currently. Unless you're playing lizards on open maps. So it's starting up with a pretty standard early game. 5 farms from both. We shouldn't expect to see much aggression because, well, Gent doesn't have moles and neither does Mishi. And the rush distance between them, the distance between their bases is significant enough for them not to really want to rush, even with all the road here. It's possible, but I don't think they will do it. Mishi is actually going to just do it anyways, and I think this is mostly just to get Gentleman on edge. Mishi wants to do something. He's probably going to maybe sell this. Yeah, he sells it again to just do there. It's just to get Gentleman on his toes, really make sure he feels a little bit endangered. Now, Mishi is going to, just in case, get some squirrels too, because he knew Gentleman used to have a warren. That's not the case anymore, so he just sells it and builds the 8th farm. You'll see a lot of this in games where people really don't go on the offensive, but they're gonna threaten it. So in case you don't respond to it, then they will go on the offensive. So pretty standard opening here for the two Class S players. Mishi's gonna take this campfire, and Jen's like, yeah, you can't sneak that campfire. I saw that. Oh, he sells it again here. He's just holding it for a little bit to annoy Jen, basically. And now he has enough money for quite the amount of T1s. And he's just gonna get 2 squirrels out and some barbed wire. So, this means that Mishi wants to go for some very defensive play. And he really wants to with this wolf. Now, wire really good for defense. Basically, if you can get good wire up, it's impossible to push in on you. More so than any other structure in the game, in my opinion. So, what does Gent do in response? He gets snakes and pigeons. No. He gets a fox. So, I don't know if Gentleman admitted that this was probably a mistake. Getting fox here against wolf, not really ideal. Then that's because if wolf buffs a unit, it gets double speed. And with double speed, you have double the potential for catching foxes. Fox does not like wolf because fox does not like other speedy units. So, this evolved into a pretty weird game already because both players are rushing T3s. Mishi is not going to be pushed in on because he has barbed wire and Fox can't really get through the barbed wire, and nothing on Gent's end can really push through the barbed wire. However, Gent can try and contain him. Mishi actually sells his barbed wire here because he knows that Gent can't go on the offensive because he's rushing a T3 of his own. Now Mishi, meanwhile, is going to just get his wolf up, going to get his camps up. He needs some good units to buff the wolf with. And camps buff is really, really good, especially against Fox. Because they can't be shot while they're stealthy. And with double attack speed, they deal quite a lot of damage, so they can just run up really quick and whack away at the fox. Very dangerous for enemy foxes. So Mishi here is going to move up on the map here, sell his bot wire, and try and move it forward, and just make it really hard to get to him. Meanwhile, he's grabbing some eco here. He's still a little bit behind from Gentleman, who has more eco than him. But with the wolf out, he can buff his economy. You see here, he's already buffing the pigs here, and you can buff pretty much anything in the game. You can buff this warren, now it produces squirrels double as fast. You can buff the pigs, now they produce food twice as fast. If a structure or unit can do something, they pretty much do double as fast. Oh, that's some sneaky cams trying to use the wolf to run in and just kill it, but the commander goes down to the fox here, which means that both chameleons pretty much die for free. I like that strat though. Mishi knew his camps would come out before, no, his camps and wolf would come out before the enemy fox, so he tried to abuse the speed buff from the wolf to just run across the map and snipe the enemy fox warren. Nice try, but sadly the fox came out and just killed his commander, which makes Mishi very, very sad. Now, as you can see here, this wire here is just going to make it really hard for Jed to do much here. And see, all these speedy squirrels, look at the speed of those squirrels. They don't care about the other squirrels. They just run straight up and kill the fox. That's what I'm talking about. Wolf is really nice against enemy foxes because your units are really speedy and they just run right up and kill it. Now, this wolf here is going to be poisoned, but it's not going to die here, and Jen has the advantage here. But if this wolf just gets value and buffs this one chameleon here, see, these buff units here are just going to run up here and do so much work. And now they can just run up, kill these pigeons. Gent is going to have a hard time retreating because the units are just speedy. They're too fast for him to... Mishi just has a huge advantage when it comes to mobility on his army. This makes him able to catch him out much easier. He even places his wolf here, and that's because as the pigs are building, his wolf will buff the pigs, making them produce food twice as fast. And that's going to end up with Mishi getting quite a lot of eco advantage. Even though he's far behind on farms, his wolf buffing his eco will make him able to easily catch up again. Especially because Gent lost his fox, which is 180 food down the drain. That's a lot of food. So Gent is just building an army up here without his fox, but Mishi at the same time, huge eco. Huge. And Gentleman knows that something's up. He has to stop that huge eco, and he's going to try and do just that. Mishi pulls back the wolf so he can buff his units, and now he takes the engagement here. But you see here, these toads here are going to get massive destructive hits. Toads very, very good against this army comp of Mishi's because they're all T1 plus cams. And the skunk guy is just going to take down those squirrels here, and the wolf has to retreat here, poisoned and all, and he's going to try and buff the warrens, but Gent just has the tempo advantage here by far. He has more units out, and this wolf just has no real... It doesn't have enough good units to buff. And even if it buffs these squirrels, and even though those squirrels are attacking at double the speed, there's just not enough to kill Gentleman's army, who's going to get to snowball and just kill this wolf in a second, I'd say. Wolf goes down. And that's pretty much the end of the game for Mishi. He loses his value machine, and now Jen is going to take out these warrens, making sure that Mishi just can't reinforce. Mishi is behind by a lot now. He lost his T3, just like Jen. He lost a lot of farms. He can't buff his farms anymore. And Gent just has the warren advantage, the army advantage. You can even just... If we look at the graphs real quick here, you can just see the army value of Gent was higher, and he had the better army comp with the toads that would hard counter Mishi's army, and so he pushed in, took down all these warrens, and even if they have even army value now, Gent is going to reinforce with his slightly better eco and better warrens. He has more warrens than Mishi, and Mishi has to do something to counter the toads. He has to rotate out of Cam Squirrel, and that's going to be expensive and slow too. And as you can see here, Gent's income is just better than Mishi's. Even if Mishi's income was better for second, Gent just took it right down again, and Mishi is basically starving at this point. Gent still has this forward mill here, which is going to give him a defensive forward shield. Now, he can abuse that, and he just sit on this high ground all day, and it's going to be really hard for Mishi to play around. You see these camps here? Ooh, the toad actually died before the cams could... That's really, really important. But these toads are going to come in here now, and Mishi's going to pull his cams back, knowing that they have triple the regen in territory than other units have, and he doesn't want the enemy toads to explode on them. Now, Gent here is going to try and sell... No, he's not going to sell... I think he should sell maybe a squirrel one. But he's going to try and hold this forward mill here. He has a snake now, so he's going to try and poke away at him. So Mishi's very aware of this. He gets a poison tag on the commander. It doesn't really matter. Ooh, the camps are forced to engage here, and a toad goes off on it. The camp is poisoned. It's going to die eventually. The snake here doesn't get to live either, but now that Gent has just a huge squirrel advantage, which is going to make him able to push in once again. And now, because of this advantage here, Gent played his cards very well. He knew that when Mishi went really greedy on the eco, he should push and punish. And he did so accordingly. He microed well in his fight. He built toads which counter this army comp of squirrel cams. And now he's going to be able to go in and deal good economy damage to Mishi once more. Mishi knows it's time to tap out and he cannot win this game. 1-1 between Mishi and the gentleman. Game 3 between Mishi and Gent here, so... Ooh. We need to talk about this deck for a little bit here. So, Gentleman has a very odd deck that's been infamous in the community. We call it the Pile deck. The reason why is because it's popularized by a player named Pile O Poop. who started using this very inventive deck with Licit Mole and 4 structures. Now, Pyle likes to play mines instead of artillery cannon, but Gentleman wants to use artillery cannon instead. Now, what does this deck do? It's all about one thing: map control. Structures can beat pretty much any unit in the game. However, you don't have to engage structures. They're immobile, and that's their weakness. However, if you grab map control early with Licits and Moles, which are the best map control units in the game, and have some forward territory where you place your structures, then your opponent has to fight you inside of structures, and that's not really to their advantage. Now, Mishi, though, has some tools to his disposal to deal with this. He has moles and squirrels. If he can get a mole squirrel push up and going, then this is very effective. He can do it before Gent gets to take the map for his own. But let's see how this turns out. Gent's deck is very, very scary. Especially on a map like this, where he can run around and come from 2 angles. Very important for Licit raids, which is a big part of this deck. Gen's just scouting the map here. He's not very interested in rushing Mishi right now. He just wants to scout the map to see what options he has. It's really important with this deck because this deck is very map dependent. On a map like this, it's really, really hard to deal with Gentleman's deck. And Gent knows that. So he's just gonna go scout. He's gonna see the 6 farms here. Ooh, Mishi there is gonna have an attempted mole rush now. He sold all his farms. Gentleman just scouted Mishi and saw that he had 7 farms, which means Gentleman thought he might be safe, but Mishi just sells them, and now here comes the moles. Gent, though, sees them, and he's like, oh god, no, we can't have that. So he's gonna place moles of his own to try and combat this. The reason why he places mole over MG is because MG's here, it's too late. You can't place MGs here in the front of his base where they would matter, because the moles would just run in and destroy them before they'd finish constructing. Moles at the back here, though, Mishi can't really kill those, and then they can run up forward and fight with the picks. Very lucky pick RNG, though. These 3 picks very close together is extremely good for Gentleman. So now Gent's moles come in here to try and defend here. Gent has to sell that one, but he only loses 1 farm, and he's still ahead on eco. So Gent is doing just fine. Moles is the best counter to moles. Now Mishi's gonna go back here, build a squirrel warren, probably gonna sell that full health mole, and build more farms. Exactly what we'd expect this more farm, but he might not. He might just go for the oh, snakes. Alright, so snakes here. This is he doesn't know what Gent is playing. So he wouldn't know that he's playing pure Licit, but Snake against Licits, that's risky business, and with no T1 other than his moles here, and Gent building moles here for an offensive, this T2 war is very risky. Gent's gonna be able to punish this very, very, very hard. See these moles here going down, 1 mole down, Licit's just gonna reinforce here, this T2 warren goes down. Mishi's mole goes down, and Gent just sells his mole, runs back out, and waits for Licit reinforcement. And then he goes back in, takes down this pick, waits for Licit reinforcements. He goes back here, claims the campfire, and now he's probably just going to patch up his own eco. He's very far ahead on eco here, and Mishi is forced to place down an MG, but Gent just doesn't care. He goes back, he ecos, and now he just scouts. Oh, there's an MG. Well, he has the eco lead. He doesn't have to attack. Now he's probably gonna... Ooh, he's actually gonna push anyways with moles. I'd say in his situation, he really doesn't have to attack. You could claim this campfire, build some defensive structures on this hill through this campfire, and just hold map control with this deck while trying to raid with Licits. And he's gonna do just that. As you see, he's placing the Licits forward here to defend his MGs while they're building. He's just going to keep map control with structures now. This is the other use for structures. You can use it to keep map control you've earned. Mishi here has no way of really going on the offense. He has just 3 squalls against 9, 10 Licits and MGs. And now a Balloon 2, which is going to make sure that gentleman can resist ferret poking, among other things. It's very, very tricky to push through, and you see him, he's just gonna run in, take down a farm, lose 2 or 3 lizards, but that's fine. He just needs to keep Mishi's economy down, and he does that successfully. Mishi, meanwhile, trying to be cheeky. He gets to take down a campfire at the moment, but it dies, so... a little bit of a good trade on Mishi's part. I think it's nice to delay the food income for Gent here, but I still don't think this is enough to put him anywhere near the lead. So, you see Mishi, he has to play so defensively. He knows Gent has so many more lizards than he has squirrels. And he's forced to sit here and play this defense game. He does not like that. Because now Gent can do the same, have map control, claim a mill, and just get the eco advantage. And Mishi can't really push. He has to get some of his food out of MGs if he wants to. And the second mill here is very dangerous because there's this amount of lizards. Gent's just gonna, Gent's gonna see that MG and just pick it off. Ooh, he's just gonna pick off the MG and squirrels? No, I think he overextended here. Gentleman overextended just a tiny bit here. He did get some value out of this. He did get that to take down the MG and the squirrel one, but I don't think it's enough. Now, Mishi just runs up here and sees a big wall of nope. He cannot counter-aggress on Gent, and Gent here is just gonna sit here and eco all day. Mishi can't stop them. Because if his squirrels leave the base, his base dies. Ooh, Gent is gonna be sneaky here. Even if this is running the right direction, he knows that Mishi has this base here. And now he's gonna have to sell all this, and then he's just gonna run away. Ooh, no, he's gonna take the fight here. So, he takes down this here. He baits Mishi out in an unfavorable situation. He forces him to sell his farms, which gives Gentleman even more of an eco lead. And he takes down the MG. He takes a fight outside of the Warrens. Like, this is right outside the Warrens, which is fine for Gent. He likes that. Now he can sit here. He can take down these Warrens. And Mishi just really can't do much to stop it. Now, these lizards will have to back off now. And Mishi is just bad eco, bad army, too much food into like MGs and stuff, and Jen is just gonna sit down an arty cannon here, and with this arty cannon plus balloon up, there's nothing that's gonna ever push through this. No way. So this is a really, really strong play from him, and poor Mishi can't really do anything because he's contained. He can't leave his base. So what's the answer here from Mishi's side? Mishi has to do something stupid. Like, Mishi has to do something extremely risky that can bring him back into the game. How do you do something risky you can bring back into the game? That's probably only T3, but I don't even think a boar is enough to push through this. This is crazy strong, and there's nothing he can really do. See, Gentleman just runs here and see, oh, you don't have your squirrels here? I'm just gonna take out this here. Now I have an arty cannon that can support me if any fights happen in this area here in front of the high ground. Impossible for Mishi to really do anything here. Mishi's economy is so bad, his army is so bad, and Gent is just gonna sit there and have eco. Look at all this eco, it's just insane. The Gentleman there again, he's just gonna run in there and threaten with the lizards whenever Mishi turns his back to him. So it's just a big harassment game while and Mishi just kept on his toes while Gentleman just hits here and has the biggest economy I've ever seen. Like, so much eco, Mishi just can't do anything. He has to play risky. Mishi does play risky by placing down a boar, but I don't think that boar is gonna go and come down and do much, really. No, the lizards just come in here and they just kill the mill. Oh no, I lost some lizard. It doesn't matter. Gentleman has so much eco. Look at him. He's floating 250 food. He has so much food that losing a few lizards really doesn't matter at all. And he's just gonna grab more eco. This game has been lost from Mishi for quite a while, and there's really not much more to analyze left in this here. In fact, I'm just gonna skip over here. You see, Gent has seen the Boar Warren. He's gonna put up the defenses here. And now he's gonna run the Lizards over here. Come, show me the attack. Ooh, he's gonna get sneaky. And now he's just gonna mole push and just run straight in, kill the mill, and win the game. He has so many Lizards, he doesn't care about the enemy defenses. He just runs in and kills. Because Mishi just can't do anything to stop the gentleman here. He's so far ahead, it hurts. Good game, well played. So that was game 3. So it's 2-1 to the gentleman, and with 3 games left. Again, it still ends in a 4-2 for the gent. So it's not Mishi's last win we've saw before. Let's get right into game 4. So, Mishi and Gentleman, their decks. Let's talk about it real briefly. Mishi is using a deck that has been pretty alright and pretty good for a while too, which is T1 plus Skunk and Badger. Now, Skunk really good defensively, T1 very well, Toad is really good defensively, and Squirrels are really good defensively, Pigeons are really good defensively. Pretty much all good defensive units, except Badger, which can just mow down everything and win the game. So, Mishi has a definite win condition here in just using Badger to mow down everything. Gentleman, meanwhile, is not using any T3 and is using a triple T2 deck, which has very good mid-game strength, both defensively and offensively, which means Gentleman has quite the power in his hands when it comes to the mid-game. As long as he doesn't allow Badgers to come up, he should be just fine. Even if a Badger does come up, he still has Snakes, which is really good against Badgers. So, standard early game, they're both just going farms, having a good time. No one is rushing today, not yet. Gent might be molding at some point soon, but we don't see any moles yet. We do see... Nope. He was considering it, but no moles. Not yet. Still, he's standing around here being very threatening, and Mishi's keeping a close eye on him because he knows Gent has moles. Gent gives up on it because he knows that Mishi knows that the moles were coming, if anything, and they wouldn't really work. So, 8 farm standard gameplay, no crazy things happening, not yet at least. The 2 of them are just having a good time. Now, let's discuss the map briefly. So, this map is very split. It slightly favors Gentleman, though. Gentleman has very good defensive position in this large choke here. Very good high ground mill here that gives him forward territory to hold the line here. While Mishi, though, has 4 mills here that are a little bit closer and easier to hold. So while it's easier to defend in general for Gent and have this large slice of the map, Mishi just has 4 closed mills, which means that they're pretty even on that, and Gent doesn't have a late game deck, he has a mid game deck, he has no T3s. Mishi, meanwhile, can just go Badgers and win the game that way. So, Gent grabs an early campfire. This is another advantage he has because Mishi doesn't have any early campfires. He has to build a mill instead, which costs 60 food and then 60 for 1 farm. That's 60 more than just buying one campfire. Gent's also going to buy a mill now. He sees that Mishi's buying a mill. He doesn't have the offensive capabilities to push up this high ground. It's a very small choke, so he's just going to go do something similar, go for eco. Now he's also going to go Snakes, which is going to make him able to poke and prod at the enemy if he so pleases. Along with that, he's just going to go Falcon, so the Mass T2 is already starting to slowly roll out here. Mishi's going for farms in T1 meanwhile, and this good amount of T2 here could be pretty scary from Gent. Mishi now sits on the eco advantage though, and oh, look at that cheeky mole here. Gent is just going to build a mole to take down this wire and just force Mishi to sell it for 4 food when the cost was 20. That's 16 food value. Small little value play I like seeing that just gives Gent a little bit of an edge. Now, Mishi sees that Gent here doesn't have any farms yet, but built some, so... But immediately sells them again, which means that there's some shenanigans going on here. You see, Gentleman he's getting all of his T2s. He's getting a few squirrels and then pigeons. He's gonna just T2 push and try to use pigeons to keep his T2 alive while pushing up this tiny choke. If he can get skunk gas down in this choke, it's gonna be very beneficial for him. And he has high ground vision with falcons, so this makes him able to push in. We'll see how Mishi responds. Mishi hasn't scouted yet, as you can see here. If we just slow down here, toggle the visibility over to... Hold on. Over here. He knows there's a mill here. He expects a few farms, but boom. Now, Gent is coming over here, and what is he gonna do? He has to defend against this. He can't go on the offensive, but these falcons here grant high ground vision and allows the snakes to start poisoning buildings and structures and being scary. Gentleman can take the forward mill here, and now Mishi has to poke out here. He gets some toad explosion, but they're not good enough. They take down a snake, but that's pretty much it. Now, meanwhile, these skunks and snakes and this falcons here can just push in here, spread gas, and just threaten all of this T1 that really can't do much. Pigeons just make sure that he can't kill the T2, and now the T2 is going to be able to poison his warrens and just slowly push in here. Very nice T2 play from Gent, who pulls back the damaged units here. He pulls back the snake just as it's about to die and gets it healed with pigeons, getting all that value he can. And because of this value, it enables him to keep pushing and keep killing Mishi's T1. While also taking down warrens. He poisons that warren, takes down immediately. Gets some good gas down in this choke here, which is going to kill all this T1 really quickly. And this push just continues in. The moles come in to help here and tank some of the damage. And now the T2 are getting into Mishi's base. Gentleman sees the falcons on attack. He pulls them back again, and you can see this push here. So many point stacks in the middle guns are going to take it down. Mishi's now behind on eco again. And Gentleman has huge army advantage in the middle of his base with pigeons that's going to sustain his push. There is no way Mishi's going to hold it from now on here, and he just taps out. Very well played from Gentleman with his farms that he sold to fake out Mishi and then go for a T2 push. As you also saw in the fight, he had good micro where he pulled back the specific T2s that were hurt to then heal them with pigeons and put them back in the battle once they had health again. Very good micro that, and certainly a very good use of pigeons. So now going into the fifth game, it's now 3-1 for Gentleman here, and that means it's match point. If Gentleman wins one more match, then he wins the entire series. I already spoiled the result several times in this, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to you who wins. But let us move into the Gentleman versus Mishi 5. 2 more games left. Spawning in the top right here, we have Mishi on a very defensive map here with 2 chokes. And the bottom we have Gentleman, meanwhile, with a watery choke ahead that could be proved problematic for him, especially with his high ground. If there's any ferrets here or something like that, which Mishi does carry in his deck, could be very dangerous. So overall, I'd say the map advantage is actually in Gentleman's favor. While Mishi has the better defensive position here at first, Gent has the option to expand much better, especially if he takes this expand that will nullify the weaknesses of his first expand. And also give him forward territory and allow him to pressure Mishi with it. Now, Jen is playing pile deck. Ooh, no, people don't like pile deck, so let's see how it goes here in the second round. I explained earlier how the pile deck works and why it works. You got to see it in action with how much map control it could take, how much eco it could go up on, and just use the structures to nope the hell out of Mishi, because Mishi can't push through that huge eco. When you have that much of a huge of an eco, it doesn't matter that this is the only units you're going to build. Well, along with moles. So, forward campfire from Gentleman here, which is a nice play. He knows his deck. Now, if you guys see a forward campfire like this early, that probably means you're playing against pile deck. And you have to respond to that with toads and squirrels. It's a very good response to it. Mole, squirrel is also good. And you see this forward mole here. This is just Gentleman really saying, I'm playing pile deck. I want this map control. I want to grab map control early, and if I have map control, then I can have all the eco I want to, because you can't push through these double MGs I'm gonna place forward here. Mishi knows what to do though. He's gonna build Squirrel, he's gonna build Toad, and he's gonna build Ferret. All of which are really nice against the enemy comp here, and Gent knows that it's probably something coming. He gets some wire up. This is a very good defensive position he has forward here. But these Ferrets, very strong against this defensive position here, because Gent doesn't have any balloons yet. He has opted not to build any yet, which means when these Ferrets come out, it's gonna be very bad for these MGs, because Gentleman only has 9 lizards, and against Squirrel Toad, you can't really push out and just kill those Ferrets. The balloon comes down now, but I fear it's a little bit too late, because look at this Ferret here. Can Mishi get the focus fire on the balloon? He can. He gets to get a shot off, but can he get the second shot off? He really needs to take down the balloon, but the balloon does manage to go up. Some of the lizards die here to an explosion, but Mishi can just sneak around here and just take down here and push into the balloon. These lizards here are just gonna try and take down the squirrels, but because of the toads earlier, they're not able to. There's too much value in these structures here, which are not helping Gent now that Mishi's just gonna push in with the ferrets here and have a good early offensive that can beat him. Very nice little micro here. He holds back the toad so that it doesn't explode on the campfire, and that means he can hold it for when he needs it. Now, Gent really can't do much with one lizard. Mishi doesn't care about one lizard. Even lizard with 5 moles isn't that threatening, because he's just gonna run back here and be like, I have the advantage now. What are you gonna do? Even with this many moles here, he has to sell them again, and Mishi's just gonna run back out here and be... He's probably gonna try and end the game now. All these moles, though, very, very threatening here. Mishi might have to return as quickly as he can, but he built 3 MGs, which is gonna help him hold his mill, because he knows Gent's playing moles. So he wants to make sure that nothing bad happens. Mishi takes down a mill. He goes for that there. Now he just needs to deal with this army of moles. If he can deal with this army of moles, he can win the game. But these moles are gonna try and take out the mill, but they just die to the MGs. Mishi predicting the mole push here, and he just denies it completely with MGs, meaning that he wins the game by countering the pile deck very efficiently with ferrets, with toads, and squirrels. Very well played. Going to game 6 here. This is the match point for Gentlemen still. It's a 3-2. So with this game, this will be the last in the series, meaning the Gentlemen won it. Spoiler alert. So in this game here, Mishi, pretty defensible. He has 1 angle you can attack from here. 1 very wide angle though. Gent, meanwhile, very defensive map. You could sneak behind here with lizards, but pushing through the front door here, this choke here, gonna be very hard, especially because his Gentleman has skunks which thrive on choke points like this. Mishi again is gonna try his Cam Falcon shenanigans, which didn't work out well for him in the second game, but it might just work differently. I still don't think the combo is strong enough to contest the strength of Skunk's Snake though. So, standard early game so far. There's nothing really much happening here. They're just scouting each other and building farms. None of them are carrying moles either. Mishi's gonna place down a warren here, which is probably just to deter any mole shenanigans, and because he's building a farm right after, and this signifies he doesn't want to go aggressive because he's putting a food into farm and not a unit. Gent does pretty much the same here. Mishi sells his farm warren again because it has done what it should, which is to deter moles. Now, Mishi's gonna have to scout again here and see if Gent is doing any shenanigans. He sees the warren. He sees that it gets sold though, so he's probably not gonna respond to it with much. He has his 8 farms still. He's not gonna sell anything. He's just gonna wait for food and build farms like a normal person. And maybe he's going to expand early. He has a really good 2 mil map here. Like these 2 mils here, you can grab those, go eco, and it's going to be very hard to push in through all this. He goes for cams early. Interesting. Now, Gent does have a response to this, would be snakes or just something like that. So he's gonna go for exactly that, snakes, and he's gonna have to be careful about the back door here. Chameleon raids can be pretty dangerous, and if Mishi's commander sneaks in and left clicks on that campfire, then those sneaky chameleons might just get in some good harass on both the campfire and the T2 Warren. So Gentleman has to be a little bit careful about that. Gentleman, though, is gonna scout here, sees the barbed wire, which is probably to deter any lizards and moles, but Gentleman is not using the pile deck this time around. If he were, then Mishi would be pretty ready for it with Squirrel Toad and Cams. Pretty good combo against the pile deck too. But Jen ain't running that. He's running snakes and he's running squirrels, and he's grabbed 2 campfires already, so he's sitting on the eco advantage. Mishi just now is gonna buy his 2nd mill, I think. There we go. So in this situation, Gent here sits on the eco. He doesn't have the arm advantage, but snakes are really good defensively. It's just hard to push into him here. The only option Mishi really has here is chameleon raids. If Mishi sees this campfire, let's just see if he does real quick. He doesn't see that. He knows this campfire is here, but he can't see if it's taken or not. So he might want to check this campfire if it's taken, just so see if he can raid it with his chameleons. Mishi's very paranoid of moles here, so he's just gonna run and check if Jet is trying to maul. Jet's sitting on the eco advantage still, and Mishi just doesn't know about the eco advantage because he doesn't know there's 2 campfires. He just sees that Gent here is gonna go for an MG. What does this signify? Gent is doing something crazy, because if he wasn't going for an MG, if he is going for an MG, he has something to defend. What will he defend? A Fox Warren. So he's just gonna defend this Fox Warren all he can now. He's gonna place 2 snakes down there and 2 MGs. No chameleons are gonna get down and raid that T3 Warren there. Mishi runs through this, but this Fox Warren is out of sight. It's just not close enough. He doesn't see it yet. And Jen is gonna sell the MGs here because Mishi doesn't seem to be able to see it, and he still has his snakes just sitting there, which will deter any crazy stuff that might happen. And at this point, I think Mishi might be too late to really punish it. And the wolf is coming up, though. And Mishi just now sees the Fox Warren. He has the Wolf Warren, though, which means that if he can get that up, he might be able to counter it. And his eco is looking fine now. He was still behind because Gentleman got his eco faster. Now Gen's going to expand forward, and he's going to have the Fox coming up now, meaning he can sit there and start poking. Mishi knows the Fox is there, though, so he's going to set up wire to try and make it harder for the poke to come in here. And with the wire and the chameleons, he's going to have to micro pretty well to fend off this Fox here, and it's going to be really, really hard. Gentleman just rolls his army and takes massive damage. He only loses 1 or 2 squirrels, though, to take down that wire. And he's just going to play some forward MGs, hold that forward position, heal with the pigeon and the natural health regen. And then he's going to start just continuing to fox poke through this hole he has made here. Cam's coming down, but they just don't deal enough damage to kill the Fox. The Fox is just going to come in here and get some shots off. Boom, boom. Now, the Wolf goes out here. The Wolf buffs, it's just coming too late, though. The Fox is just going to take down those T2s. Too many poison stacks, and the Wolf just dies to a Fox shot here. Very well done from Gentleman here, who's just had the better eco earlier and went for a T3 way before Mishi's Wolf came out, and Mishi just couldn't hold out enough to get enough value on the Wolf. So well played from Gentleman, and the T2s against Fox. Fox shots hurt T2s a lot, which makes it very dangerous to go for for T2 against Foxes. So if I were in Mishi's shoes, I'd probably have put off the Cam Skunk thing and just go for Mass Squall Wolf, which would be very good against the enemy Fox. Alright, that concludes the whole series here. I'm getting a little dry here after having talked for 50 minutes now. I hope you all enjoyed the replay analysis I've been giving you, and if you want more of it, please let me know in the comments. Did you like this? Do you want me to do something else? Do you want me to analyze the decks more? What would you like to have more knowledge on? I would be very happy to answer questions in the comment sections too. So if you guys want to know more about a unit, or about the targeting system, or about anything in Tooth and Tail, I'll do my best to answer and watch the comment section. Thank you all for watching. Have a good time. Jet signing out.